Welcome back to the Anxious Tradeswoman podcast, where I, your host, Louise as a party, share what I've learned through the years, through the tears, so you don't have to. This is episode 30, the second episode of 2024. Oh my God. And this episode, I will be talking about the research season. And this episode is supported by Middies Women's Underwear. So, the research season. I am going to do 2 podcasts on goals following this, but I really wanted to talk about the research season first. Now, what I mean by the research season is a period of time when you're researching. You don't have any particular goals. You might have already achieved a big goal and you're like, what is next? Or you might so then there's also another season where you live your goal. So you get your goal, you live your goal, and then you might need to research what your next goal is. So in this research season, you might find yourself feeling, or before you acknowledge that you're in a research season, you might be feeling lost. Like there's something missing, everything's good, but I'm just not quite feeling it. It's just, there's just something else there, I've experienced this a few times, and actually before I started my coaching business where I coach and mentor tradeswomen and tradies, I actually worked out that I was in this season of research. And I gave myself 6 months. It was the back half of 2020, which I think a lot of people were like, what is even going on in the back half of 2020 with the pandemic and everything? But I researched the hell out of my options. I did math on how much money I needed to have and how I could get that money and how much time I needed to have to then make this thing that I just had in my mind that I wanted to do something for tradeswomen. And then I was researching on what that was in that phase. Like, was it staying a trainer and assessor, or was it moving on? And my whole goal at that time was to research, to find information about these things that I was all like, that would be cool, but how do I do that kind of thing? That would be cool, but is that what I want kind of thing? This research season. And I think sometimes we either try and skip this season, or when we're in it, we feel lost. Like we haven't acknowledged that we're researching. We're just like, I feel so lost. And if you are in a stage where you're feeling lost, then this is a good time to switch your mentality and think that you're in a research season. It sounds productive, it's got a nicer name than feeling lost. It's just a fancy way of being lost. Not really. It's the step you go into after being lost, after recognizing that you're feeling lost. Okay. So, with this, I also found I was unconsciously in a research season after I qualified from my apprenticeship. So I did my 4 years. So in Australia, apprenticeship is 4 years. I did the 4 years of my apprenticeship, and then it had been this goal that I'd been working towards, and I was like, shit, what's next? Where do I even go? Do I want to start my own business? Do I want to be an expert? Do I want to study more? Do I want to stay at this workplace? So then I was researching what all those options look like to then pick one. Okay, so let's go back a step into the lost feeling. So this is something that I want to kind of break down a little bit more, because it can help work out what area of your life you are researching in. And I want to go through a tool with you guys called the Wheel of Life. So this is a tool that I got from my life coaching school, but I do know a lot, you can Google the Wheel of Life and go through it. So pretty much the exercise of this, which if you are interested in doing a one-on-one coaching consult with me, I can run through this with you one-on-one in more detail. But the Wheel of Life it's pretty much looking at 8 aspects of your life: business and career, finances, health, relationships, romance, personal growth, fun and recreation, and physical environment. So with these, the idea is that you draw a circle, divide it up into 8 parts, and you rate each of those areas out of 10. And you kind of want your wheel, once you connect all your dots or like all your markings, so you mark in the wheel like, 10 is towards the outside, 1 is towards the middle. You want to have a nice full wheel, right? But when we're in this kind of lost feeling or like kind of empty soul or there's a piece missing, often this tool, this wheel of life, you'll see one of the areas has like a massive, like it's everything else is like an 8 or a 9 or, like a solid 7 or something. And then something's like a 1. I recently did this with one of my amazing clients, and her fun and recreation. So everything was like a steady 8 kind of thing. Fun and recreation was a 10 and finances were a 0. Because she was always living on that kind of edge because she had fun and recreation high above everything, and her finances were really low, but then one was impacting the other. And yeah, she was kind of like, oh, that makes a lot of sense where all this stress is coming from, because it was something that she kind of turned a blind eye to, kind of thing. So those 8, so you can Google this tool, but those 8 sections are business and career, finances, health, relationships, romance, personal growth, fun and recreation, and physical environment. So when we go into this research stage, so we're feeling lost, and sometimes when we feel lost, then we go straight into the research stage. Often we feel lost because of career or something, but we can also feel lost because of relationships. Maybe your partner isn't growing with you and you're going on different directions, and you want to go one way and your career's growing and your lifestyle's changing but theirs isn't, and you want them to grow with you but they're not. Your fun and recreation, if you don't have any, you want to go into that research stage and research hobbies. If you're in a job and you're going to start looking at different jobs and that kind of thing, and research that area. So it was relationships, fun and recreation, and career. They're kind of the 3 main ones that I've personally gone into research phases for. Personally, in the health section, when that's been a bit low, I usually, because a lot of health things take time to actually work for your body, so different types of exercise, naturopath, psychologist, counselling, that kind of thing, coaching, I usually try and give them at least usually about a year. I try and stick to them. But you can pick what you're going to stick with for a year in your health and then go through that. So looking at all of your life and pretty much doing like a research project on your life. And then from there, once we've researched everything, we've worked out, okay, previously I have not liked all of these things. So these are all the things that I'm considering. Which one do I want to pick? And then we can decide from there. And that's when we start goal setting. We've done our research. So usually after that research period, you've got a bit of detail on each of the options that you were going to pick. So you cross off those ones that you're not going to pick, and then you start setting the goals for them. Now, there's so many different ways to set goals, but and then you find your own flow in which you want to do. But in the next 2 episodes, I'm going to go over stretch goals, so goals that help you grow leaps and bounds, and just keep swimming goals. So goals where you are pretty much working on not going backwards in a particular area of your life when it seems like shit is hitting the fan. So that's what we're going to talk about next episode. So the Wheel of Life is a really good tool to use if you are feeling lost, and recognizing that you are in a research stage also helps you move forward when you are feeling lost. Nothing's gone wrong, nothing's happened, and I'm going to do a specific episode on kind of like getting off the tools. So if you're on the tools and you feel like, what's next? What's for me? I will go through different examples that are specific to being on the tools, then getting off the tools, from my own experience and experiences of others. But yeah, have a think about it. Are you in need? Are you feeling lost? And are you in need of a research season in your life? Thank you guys for listening to this episode of the podcast. And like I said, if you would like to do a one-on-one coaching consult with me, we can go through the wheel of life, or we can pretty much talk about where you are now, where you want to be, and we make a plan to get there. And then we can chat about if you want to work one-on-one with me for 6 months or more if you want, but 6 months to achieve what you want to do. Okay. And the supporter of this episode is Middies. So Middies are women's boxer underwear, and they are a godsend. In the podcast notes, I don't know, is that what they're called? There will be a link for 10% off, and you can also use the code Louise as a party for 10% off as well. These are amazing underwear, like put them under all of your work pants and it makes everything so much better, more comfortable, no chafing. Yeah, I just love them. I actually threw out all my other underwear when I discovered these guys. But anyway, I will see you in the next episode. Have an amazing day.